Because it is Justice Antonio Carpio who is the Senior Associate Justice, he is an old hand. He has a lot of gravitas. He is respected in terms of his intellectual ability. He has experienced a lot in terms of the court and in terms of politics. There is a lot of confidence in terms of how the court is managed, even though he is an acting Chief Justice.
Sir, would you say na, kasi diba 5 yung nag-a-apply na justice, would you say na the Supreme Court would be okay with any one of the senior justice, or baka magkaroon ng issue if it's not the most senior, who is Carpio?
Siguro balikan natin yung seniority, no? To me, it is a marker of experience. It is a marker of, I think, a period under which you have gained the respect of your colleagues. So, I think part of the lessons that we can learn from the past is it is difficult to get somebody who is junior to the court because sa totoo lang, it took me about maybe 2-3 years to actually know the procedures, the traditions, and in 2 or 3 years, you are introducing yourself to your colleagues, and it's very difficult to pluck someone from the most junior ranks and put them into the leadership position. You have to have experience as chair of a committee, because in committees, you are able to deal with lower courts and with other staff. I think it matters that you have held, even in an acting capacity, a division, because that's where the adjudication happens. So seniority is important only because it is a marker of experience and potentially leadership. So among the 5, of course, each one have their peculiar abilities. Justice Antonio Carpio, as I said, as the gravitas, and easily, I think among all of us, he would be the most logical choice, because he has been in the court for a long time. He has been bypassed a lot of times. But at times that he acts as acting Chief Justice, decisions are efficient. Decisions of other justices are respected. There is there's good facilitation of the discussions and bank. So is the easy logical choice. Justice Dado Peralta, who is next senior, is very passionate about the efficiency of the court. So you've seen him work on continuous trial, speedy trial. He's very knowledgeable on procedure, knowledgeable about the staffing of the court, knows a lot of the judges and the justices of appellate courts. Justice Luke Bersamin, on the other hand, is very diligent, very conscientious in terms of his decisions, has expertise on and also procedural law, on judging, on experience in the lower courts, etc. He has an eye to detail, and I've seen him call my attention on things like the particulars of a penalty. I forget the 1 day in terms of the minimum or the maximum. He will call my attention on that. I forget exemplary. I forget Hugueta, People versus Hugueta. He'll call my attention, so detailed. The other one is Justice Stella Bernabe, Perles Bernabe. Well, she also has the respect of the staff and the lower courts. She is very collegial in terms of her work. She stands on a lot of the doctrines that she has promulgated. And in many cases, most of her ponentias are unanimous, simply because she is able to accommodate as much as possible the other points of view. And I think that also is a mark of a good leader. So I would say that those are the things that the court looks forward to.
Isn't there one more justice aspiring to be Chief Justice?
No. Yes.
Justice Andy Reyes.
Justice Andy Reyes is not part of the 5. He has been in the court for less than 2 years. And although he has been presiding justice of the Court of Appeals, there is actually a difference in the management of an appellate court as vis-a-vis the management of the highest court of the land. Justice Andy Reyes has a lot of talent and skill, but I think that we should not repeat what has happened in the past, and we should look at the top 5 of the justices. There was one more. This is Justice Mardel Castillo.
Castillo.
Of course, I was disheartened that he had to decline. He chose to decline. Justice Mardel Castillo, I would say hands down, is the most compassionate among all of us. And I would even say the kindest among all of us. He would sit down to listen quietly. And when he comes out with his ponencia, it's full of grit, full of depth. But for his own reasons, I think he declined